Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my guest is composer Catherine Rollin. Her piece on the new National Federation of Music Clubs Festivals list is The Nut Gatherers. You can find it in her book, Museum Masterpieces, Book 1, available from fine music retailers near you. Welcome, Catherine. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Sam. My pleasure.
So this is a truly lovely piece, and I noticed as I sight read it that it is dedicated to Vera Rollin. Will you talk to us a little bit about that special dedication?
Yes, this piece was written in memory of my mother, and largely because, of course, so much of my love of melody and my early upbringing was influenced by her love of music. And this piece is inspired by an artwork that was her favorite artwork at the Detroit Institute of Arts. And so it was a painting that whenever she went to the DIA, as we call it, whenever she went there, she went to that painting first, and she just loved it. So, I knew if I needed to buy her a gift, and if I was at the DIA, I could get her some note cards from the nut with the nut gatherers or something, because I always knew it would make her happy. So it's very sentimental, and I think she would have liked the melody.
What a great way to honor your mom, and how neat that you were inspired by the piece of art that she loves the best. And it's worth mentioning that every single piece of art which inspired your compositions is included in full color in the center of this book so that the students can really understand what inspired you. What a special dedication. Talk to us about what we should be teaching our students as we are working with them on the Nut Gatherers.
Some of the things that I think are really beneficial to our students. What I did in here is I think I did something that I try and do in my teaching all the time, and that is to introduce students to how you can use a finger pedal to... You might still be using the regular damper pedal, but the finger pedal can kind of outline the harmonies. And many times I just try and teach my students how to use it, for example, because then when they get into playing masterworks in classical era, they can do a lot with finger pedal that will help them to not have to use damper pedal to sustain harmonic underpinnings, and will give them a much better sense of style. And so in this piece, I wasn't thinking so much just of prep for classical, renditions of, Mozart sonatas, but it's a wonderful thing for our students to learn about doing. And that is, giving more of a harmonic baseline underpinning in the music. So that would be something that I would point out to a teacher, is to try and encourage the students to actually hold that first note and learn about it. Because once a student has done it a bit, it's one of those things that gives a nice sound and is actually very easy. Most students, at first it might be a little bit harder, but then it's something that usually they adapt to very quickly. And so it's a nice skill to learn, and I think it helps the piece too.
Excellent. Well, it's a beautiful piece with a really lovely melody. Would you be willing to play a little bit of it for us?
Yes, I'm going to make a couple cuts, but here we go.
What a lovely piece. That is just so special and so wonderful. I know that's going to be a favorite of many, many students all across the United States as they prepare for Federation festivals this year. That's awesome. Is there anything else you would like us to know about the Nut Gatherers?
Well, I think that the main thing that I would like to add in is that the first time I ever presented this piece, I said, it was just a spontaneous thought, is that how artwork takes us into the place and time. You learn so much about history. And I was saying, the thing that struck me at that moment was it's such a beautiful painting of the two young girls. And I was saying, but they look like preteens. And I said, when was the last time you saw two preteens out on a picnic or out, with they were spreading out gathering the nuts there? And how many times have you seen two preteens without cell phones? So it's such a beautiful sense of tranquility and loveliness in there. And it gives you a sense of a different time, a different age in our history of humanity. And so I think that's just another wonderful thing about learning about artworks too. And I've enjoyed so much about having them inspire pieces of mine.
Excellent. My guest today has been composer Catherine Rollin. Her piece is The Nut Gatherers. You can find it in her book, Museum Masterpieces, Book 1, available at fine music retailers near you. Thank you so much for being here today, Catherine.
Thank you.